Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Weekly Wave. We're going to start out today with, of course, our transfer system, just to reiterate that the online tool is now up and working, and parents can actually go in and request their transfer online. And on the second page, it's just showing you where they can do the first name, middle name, last name. They have to put in their date of birth, the grade, gender, and ethnicity. And if they do not have an STN, they would check this box. And when they check that, the two boxes below for asking for an STN will go away. And this will send it to us for a creation of an STN. So we're getting several of these, so it seems to be working just fine. Something that rolled out last Friday is now you are able to request an STN in the transfer app. So basically you go to enter a new system or a new student, and it tells you that a state testing number will be requested based on the information you provide. So if you enter the information in, and if there happens to be a similar match, it sends it to us in the STN tool, and we're able to either resolve it to an existing student if we're able to, or we actually create a new STN. So one thing that we're finding is a lot of the students we're getting, they say they never had an STN. Well, some of these kids have been in Sooner Start before, and those kids are assigned an STN at that time. So just because they say they don't have an STN doesn't mean that that's actually the case. Transfers, you're also going to be able to modify the student's grade level. I know we were having an issue with that before. There's basically a modify button by the grade, and there'll be a drop down that you can select the correct grade that you need to change it to. Also, transfers that are awaiting an STN will now be visible in your queue, in your open transfer queue, in the search results. So you'll see that student's line item, it just takes up a space where, before you never saw the student while it was going through the STN process. It's now there, so you'll be able to see that they're in order that they should be in. So hopefully that's helpful to everyone. Transfers that are in the open transfer queue will be visible in view only anywhere in the system. But if you need to edit a field like the grade level, it has to be an open transfer queue. So be sure you're making those changes there as well. Okay, Ed Plan. So the new Ed Plan integration guidance is now available, and it's located under the Student Information Documents and Guides page on the Oklahoma State Department of Education website, and it's under the external website section. So if you haven't already reviewed that document, please go in and do that. Next thing I want to talk about is the Stn Wizard. I'm not sure that everyone knows this, but now that app is located in the single sign-on. These are students that could not automatically be assigned an STN. There are some students in there that just need to be resolved. They're existing and they're similar but not spot on, and they just need to be resolved. We also have a flow chart available on the SDE website under Student Information Documents and Guides that shows how the process that goes through an STN assignment. So it's quite helpful to see the things that are required in order for that process to even take place. And if you have a student that you're waiting on an STN, that student's not going to appear on any reports that you have, because they have to have an STN to be on any reports. Okay, we put this in place at the end of last year, but you're no longer able to create a new STN yourself. You'll have to send it to the state for assistance, and we'll determine whether an STN needs to be created, or there's one out there that is actually the same student. So, because we're seeing several STN request for the same student. So please remember, if your student, like I said before, is entered into the transfer application, there's probably already an STN assigned to that student. So that's really all I have on STN. Sydney, do you want to add anything to that? I guess she doesn't. Okay, ownership. So the Ownership Wizard app is also located in the single sign-on. And if you find you have students that are in conflict with themselves, normally what happens with that is there's a possibility that there were two enrollments placed on one student and one was deleted and we didn't get that delete. So if you can send student data info an email and provide the student's STN and the school that it's showing in conflict with. So if it's the same school, just mention that. We can go in and delete one of those enrollments. We might need to reach out to you, so please be sure that you provide your contact information as well. Students, let me just keep going. Also keep in mind, if you have a student that's enrolled and does not show up to class, you can always look at your Ownership Wizard to see if you have a conflict on that student, because it's quite possible they've enrolled in another district, and removing them from your system will clear the conflict after you validate that they're not going to be attending there. So what I recommend with that, I know that not all student information systems you delete the enrollment, but I know there are some that they backdate the start date before the enrollment date or something like that. So you'll have to get with your vendor on how to actually make sure it's kind of in a deleted manner. So data validation. So checking your district validation issues. If you need any kind of direction in resolving these issues, we ask that you reach out to us so we can assist you. In doing that, you'll just need to email us at studentdatainfo@sde.ok.gov. And the path to get to data validation is going to be data validation, or you go to the district tab at the top, data validation and data validation wizard. Another big thing that you need to be clearing up right now is your XSD errors. Excuse me. That's when data sent doesn't meet the minimum validation requirements, or bad data will not enter the state system for reporting. So the way you need to correct it is to reach out to your SIS vendor. And as I said earlier, there's how you get to data validation, but on where to find this, you go to district and it's at the bottom of the district tab. So just click on that and it will take you, it'll bring up your XSD errors. Also, with those, the people that can actually access those is your district level users. And how you want to know if you have errors on your dashboard in the wave, it'll show at the very bottom XSD validation errors. So that's how you'll know you have them. Also, when sent data doesn't meet minimum validation requirements, I think I went the wrong way on my slideshow. Sorry about that, guys. What you need to send your vendor to correct is the error description, the object that failed, the XML file, and the date of the error. So this is just snippets of each of those descriptions. If you'll send that information to your vendor, they should be able to go in and see what the issue is and correct it at that point. Okay, we're done with XSD errors. So the next thing we want to talk about, and I've been getting calls on this already, is your district certification, or I'm sorry, direct certification reports. We haven't received those from DHS at this point and expect to get them within the next week. They should be updated mid-August with a new file, and districts can use right now the 90-day report in the meantime. So that should be available on the direct search tab. So if you need to use a report at this point, use the 90-day report. Okay, so we're down to our WAVE consolidated training, and it's going to occur August 22nd through the 26th. And we're going to start out in Woodward. Then we're going to Pryor on Tuesday. We'll be in McAllister Wednesday, Lawton on Thursday, and we'll be back in Oklahoma City on Friday. You can register at the student data info tab on the OSD website. If you've got questions for directions or locations, you can call 405-522-6570, or you can email us at studentdatainfo@sde.ok.gov. The time for each of these training sessions will be 9 to 3, and it's going to include other, like our CPSI partners and other people's that are going to be there to help provide information on certain things that we're doing. So if you're interested, I ask that you go on and please register now. I know that some of the sessions are filling up. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. New WAVE accounts. So if it's time when you're getting new employees into your district, so your superintendent first, or whoever assigns those roles for SSO, will first need to assign the WAVE access role in the SSO. And then that employee will need to contact OMES and request an affiliate's login for the WAVE. It normally takes up to 24 hours for your access to show up, but it's a good time to be contacting OMES to get those accesses up and running right now. So, and another thing that I don't have on my slide, but I'd like to mention is when you're emailing our department about a student, please, please, please do not send the student's name. If you send the student's local ID or their STN, we're able to access that information. So we're trying, we'd like you not to send any personal information in those emails. So just STN or your local ID. Okay, well, that's all that I have to cover for the day. So I'll get to the questions. And if you have questions outside of our call, you can always email us at studentdatainfo@sde.ok.gov, or you can look up our documents and guides on the State Department website under Student Information, Documents and Guides. So let's see what we have in the chat. And I think I've answered the question about direct cert, and there's a couple of those questions. Pending adjuncts. Is there a dummy code we can put in our SIS until the state issues a valid adjunct? Amanda, I'm not following you there.
Okay, so this year, folks who are not certified in certain areas are able to apply for adjunct.
Oh, yes.
Through the state. And so the issue, of course, we're just wondering if, because they don't have a valid number at all from the state, like these are people who don't have a teacher's certification. So like in the past you had a cert,
right,
adjunct, but now these are like, I don't have a cert at all, and I'm awaiting my adjunct number from the state.
So I was told that those adjunct numbers would be available. So I can reach out to Ryan and see what that process is looking like.
Okay.
Because it was my understanding that they would have numbers. So I'll let you know on that.
And I know that they do eventually, after they've paid their money and done whatever. And so we just weren't sure, like, do they not go in our SIS until that point, or is there a dummy code we can use so that they can be in our SIS to take attendance and such until the state issues that number?
I will let you know.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And so you're good on the direct cert information, correct?
Yeah, I think so. We, it seems to be all in the same category. I just like economic disadvantage, title. It's like the same students are not, we're getting errors on them, but I think it's all related to direct cert.
Okay, well, I talked with Kyle, and like I said, he said it would be up around mid-August. So I think as soon as we get it from DHS, we'll get it posted.
Okay, thank
You're welcome. Angela, yes, we did address, I don't know that we addressed issues on the open portal. What is it that might have questions about?
Working through transfers is so slow because we can only see them one at a time to be able to request records on students. Does someone have a way to do this faster?
Can you not see the list of your students?
We can see the list of students, but we can't, I mean, it might just say more public schools.
Yes.
For a first grader, that's a bunch of different schools to potentially have to find out where that student was for the previous grade, because the parents aren't always putting that on the form.
Yeah. As far as I know, that has not, I mean, it's still one at a time. And if anybody has any tips or tricks that they can share, that would be great on how you're getting that information any faster.
Thanks.
Okay. And I've got Shauna and Jennifer. I mean, if you need information on the adjunct stuff, just put your name in the chat and I'll get back with you on what I find out from Ryan. You're welcome. Okay, and if any of you join the call late or you need to go back and listen to it, as soon as we're done with it, it takes it a while to process, and then I'll get it posted back up online. So you should be able to go back and listen to the call. And the slides will be up as soon as the call is over.
Nancy, this is Renee Dozier from Grove, and I was wanting to see what you had found out about the waitlist feature in the student transfer portal. I know we talked about last week.
Yes, and I tried to reach out to you and I was unable to get you, but what I did find out on that, Renee, is once you're at capacity, you need to switch it to at capacity. And then those items will go into the wait list. And I know you might have the special indicators that you have to work through, but you should still be able to get to those.
Okay, thank you. We'll work on that and see what we can find. Thank you.
If you have any questions, please call me directly and I'll work with you on it, okay?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Jennifer, did you address the direct cert from DHS causing errors on lunch eligibility? I do know that the direct cert is not up yet, and as soon as it is posted, Jennifer, hopefully that'll clear up those errors. You're welcome. All right, does anybody have any other, Teresa, I did not address PBT on this call. We're still waiting for the training information to be released, so you're able to go in there and actually do your DVRs in regards to any student whose numbers are not correct. But I did not have a slide for that today. Okay, I've got the names of you that want the adjunct information, and as soon as I visit with Ryan Piper, I will let you know what that process looks like, and then if there's a dummy code that needs to be utilized in the meantime. Other than that, I don't have anything else. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording, and I'll hang on the call for a little bit.